Hello, movie, TV, and entertainment fans. This is Ray, aka DJ Sully D, and this is the Fandom Realm. It's time for another podcast, and just as a reminder, I'll only be doing podcasts for the foreseeable future, so if you can't watch, you sure can listen. And I will be posting on podcast sites later on. Looking at the schedule before we get started, next week I will be releasing the reaction to episode 3 and 4 of The Rings of Power, so look for those midweek. After that, I am going to try to cut back and just do those for every episode instead of every 2 episodes. But today, I'm going to review the first 4 episodes of Vampire Academy. I will be discussing some spoilers, so keep that in mind if you don't want to be spoiled. The show is on Peacock Network, and they only dropped the first 4 episodes out of, I think, 10. The show is based on the book series by Rochelle Mead. However, I have not read the books. I'm sure there are some questions that I might have that some of you have read the books can answer. Please answer those questions. Give me some background in the comments section, please. This has been a series that I've been waiting on since seeing the first previews, but I have some mixed feelings because while I want to like it, and it's right up my alley, I love werewolf movies, vampire movies, and series, fantasy series like this, I'm really having a hard time filling this series right now. The cold open may be the best part of the first episode. This really set up the show, and I thought this might be interesting, but it really went downhill pretty fast. The first problem for me is that they introduced the world that the show takes place in, but they really don't explain anything. They did introduce the Moroi, the Dhampir, the Strigoi, basically your 3 main groups of vampires or vampire hybrids, whatever you want to call them, and they really didn't do much more. They really maybe spent a couple minutes explaining all 3 groups combined. And so I'm not really sure what's up with that. We need some more background information at some point. I also think they need to give some more background information on the world we are in. I really thought they just glossed over this way too much. And the big thing is, I could forgive this if we received any extra information in episodes 2, 3, and 4. But basically, they didn't really add anything, or at least that I saw, they didn't really add anything to the background in the last 3 episodes. Another issue for me is the cast in general. Out of all the actors out there, this is the cast they came up with. This seems to almost always be a death blow to series like these that are based on books. They go out and cast a lot of actors that are new to roles, that are really new to people. We don't really see them. And I just don't think that's a good idea. They needed some standout actors that people know about. They don't have to be Bruce Willis, and they don't have to be Kate Blanchett or anything like that. But you need some people who the watchers know. The 2 main characters are Rose and Lisa, and I didn't really care for either one of them to start with. By episode 4, I did think the character of Lisa started to grow on me, basically because they threw her a big curveball. The one character I'm most interested in is Christian Ozera, who is not well thought of because of his parents. But he does come in and he helps Lisa, and we don't really know why he's helping her up to this point. So I'm very much looking forward to seeing that. I thought Andre Day Kim did a very good job playing Christian so far. I've really liked that character. Probably my favorite character so far. Maybe the biggest issue that I do have with the Moroi is they apparently have magic, but they must be the biggest wussy vampires that I've ever seen portrayed on TV or on the movie screen. I know they need the Dhampir to help protect them, but if they have magic, they need to show it. They need to show that they can defend themselves at some point. I know in a couple episodes, I almost found myself rooting for the Strigoi to come through and wipe out the Moroi just because they don't have any powers. Literally, the only Moroi that we have seen do any magic is Christian and Alyssa, and I think those powers are very interesting, especially this power Alyssa might have to control people's minds. So I'm sort of interested in that, and that's one thing that will pull me back to the series. I know this reaction is going to be short, but I just don't have a lot to say, especially that's positive about it so far. I am going to watch the remaining episodes when they drop because I have become invested in that Alyssa and Christian storyline. I'm also interested in the character of Mason, who is sort of an antagonist to Rose, one of the main characters. I'm not really sure why, but I'm sort of drawn to him as a character. We'll see if there's anything interesting going on with him. I'm also interested in the world they've developed and some of what they've conceptualized, but they're going to need to pull it off a little better in that last part of the season. To bring this review to a close, I want to give the first 4 episodes a combined grade. I feel like I have to give this basically a grade of a D. The show reminded me of sort of like an afternoon soap that didn't have much of a storyline. For a fantasy show, it really makes me miss Legacies, The Vampire Diaries, Teen Wolf. All those much better shows than Vampire Academy so far. Hopefully the next part will be better, and I will review the second part when it comes out. With that being said, it's time to get out of here. But first, hit that subscribe button, like, share, and comment. And we'll see you next time on the Fandom Realm.